This courtroom hearing starts like a routine probation violation case, but within minutes, it turns into a brutal reality check about addiction, accountability, and how quickly second chances can run out. At the center of this case is Jessica Marilla, a woman already on probation for bribery, now standing before the judge after allegedly disappearing from supervision for nearly 2 full years. And the moment the judge opens the hearing, you can already feel the frustration in the courtroom. This wasn't Jessica's first violation. It wasn't even her second. According to the court, this was her third motion to revoke probation, and that changes everything. What makes this case so intense is the clash between sympathy and responsibility. On one hand, Jessica claims she was homeless, struggling with drug addiction, and lacked transportation to report to probation. On the other hand, the judge points out that she had already been warned before and even received special accommodations like Zoom reporting and drug testing instructions. Yet somehow, she still vanished. That's the part that makes this hearing emotionally complicated. Viewers are left asking, at what point does compassion end and accountability begin? And watch carefully, because the judge in this case doesn't just hand down punishment. She explains why she believes probation completely failed here. The courtroom goes from legal procedure to deeply personal in a matter of minutes, especially when the conversation shifts toward addiction, family, and the devastating consequences that can happen when someone refuses help. By the end of this hearing, the judge delivers one of the most emotional warnings you'll hear in a probation revocation case. And trust me, the final moments hit harder than the prison sentence itself.
You have not been on probation in this court. And let me explain why. The reason why I say that is because you have done nothing. What have you done? And then you just disappeared. And we haven't seen you since. So there's no reason for me not to grant the motion. You don't want to do probation. You want to do your own thing. So I'm going to grant the motion to revoke. Who's the prosecutor?
Right here, Judge.
All right. Court is calling 2019 CR 4331W, State of Texas versus Jessica Marilla. Could I have parties announced for the record, please, for the state?
Jason Garrett, Your Honor.
Adrian Pettis for the defendant.
And are you Miss Marilla?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the document entitled Motion to Revoke Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Jessica Marilla who was placed on community supervision in 2019 CR 4331W for the offense of bribery on May 1st, 2019 for a term of 5 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
State?
Yes, Your Honor. Violated condition number 5 in Bear County, Texas. The defendant, Jessica Marilla, that didn't there fail to report to the supervision officer as directed for the months of January through December of 2022 in violation of condition number 5.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
Sure.
State?
Your Honor, well, go ahead and raise the other.
Any objections?
No, Your Honor.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 5, the court could find it true, grant the motion, sentence you up to 5 years in prison and up to a $1,500 fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 5?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find violation of condition number 5 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
There is not, Your Honor.
All right, state, what are you requesting?
Revocation, Your Honor.
Defense, what are you requesting?
We're requesting that you continue her with an extension, Your Honor, and I'd like to call her as a witness at the appropriate time.
All right, could you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Jessica Marilla.
All right, defense?
Jessica, I'm going to ask you some questions. Make sure you answer everything truthfully and directly to the point.
Yes.
You did not report to probation in excess of 2 years, correct? What was going on?
I didn't have transportation.
Okay.
at the time.
When did you discover you didn't have transportation?
Um.
Early on?
Yes. At the beginning of
Okay.
the year.
Where were
All
you
right,
live?
So let me stop you right there. Here's the thing. Court reporter has to take down everything that's being said. You're
Okay.
mumbling. I know she can't hear, or she's straining to hear. I can't hear you because my allergies are acting up today.
Okay,
So
so,
you need to keep your voice up so everybody can hear.
yes, Judge.
Yes, talk quite loud to almost to where you think you're shouting.
Yes,
Were you
sir.
living here in San Antonio?
No,
Where were you living?
in Floresville?
Okay. And does the VIA bus go out to Floresville?
No, it doesn't.
And were you reporting in San Antonio, or were you supposed to report in San Antonio?
Yes, sir.
Did you have contact with your probation officer?
No, I didn't.
Were you aware that you could have asked for your probation to be transferred to Floresville?
I wasn't.
You said you never had contact with your probation officer?
I did, I reported 2 times, I believe. It was 2 times, and then I stopped.
And did you know how to, did you know how to reach your probation officer by telephone or email?
I did.
And did you contact him by telephone or email?
I did not.
Did you have anything going on in your life aside from lack of transportation?
I mean, I was not living at home,
Where were you living?
just on the streets.
You were homeless at the time?
Yes.
Okay. Living on the streets of Floresville?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
With all due respect, Jessica, were you on drugs at the time?
At the time I was.
Okay. You're sober now?
I'm sober. I've been sober for 1.5 years.
This is the turning point in the hearing where the defense tries to rebuild Jessica's credibility before it's too late. Her attorney is clearly attempting to frame this as a recovery story rather than a defiance story. He highlights that she's allegedly been sober for 1.5 years, now has transportation, and is finally willing to comply with probation conditions. But here's the legal problem. Probation isn't judged only on future promises, it's judged on past compliance. And according to the state, Jessica completely disappeared from supervision for almost 2 years. That's an enormous violation in the eyes of the court. What's interesting here is how the defense openly admits there's no excuse for failing to report. That's actually a strategic move. Sometimes attorneys avoid making weak excuses because judges tend to respond better to honesty and accountability than denial. But the prosecution is asking for full revocation, meaning prison time. And that tells you they likely believe the court already gave Jessica enough opportunities before this hearing even started. The emotional tension here comes from the fact that viewers can probably understand both sides. Addiction, homelessness, and instability absolutely destroy people's ability to function normally. But probation also comes with legal obligations that courts take extremely seriously. So now the big question becomes, should the judge focus on Jessica's recent sobriety and give her one final chance? Or should the court prioritize the repeated violations and protect the integrity of probation itself? Let me know in the comments. Would you have given her another opportunity here, or do you think the judge's patience had already run out long before this hearing began?
Very good. You would like the judge to continue you on probation, even if it means you start in the 5 years all over again. Is that right?
That's correct.
You understand, frankly, there's no excuse for not reporting, right?
No excuses. If I get this second chance, no excuses. I will even be outpatient.
Do you live in San Antonio now?
I live in Floresville.
You're
But
still
I
in
have
Florida?
transportation now.
You do?
Yes, I do.
And now you're also aware you could request a transfer to Wilton County, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. How long have you been in jail up to now?
Going on a month and on the 26th, so yeah,
Okay. Do you think you've learned your lesson?
yes, I have.
Okay.
I can't do this.
You understand that in the event the judge continues you on probation, you're probably on your last chance. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
You understand that there might be conditions that you have to abide by that frankly aren't a whole lot of fun and might be a pain.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with whatever.
I'll pass the witness.
This is your third motion to revoke, is that correct?
Excuse me?
This is your third motion to revoke your probation. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, no further question, John.
All right, so you've been here previously before for not reporting. So if you didn't understand the first time to call probation if you're having issues, most definitely when you were here before for failure to report, you would have understood that. You have not been on probation in this court. And let me explain why. The reason why I say that is because you have done nothing. What have you done? on probation. What condition have you completed on probation? All right. And then the last time you were here before me, and it was me because this is my writing, I recognize it.
Yes.
It was a violation of condition number 5, which is not reporting. I denied the motion. And the prosecutor, it wasn't this prosecutor, but another prosecutor asked for zero tolerance. And I told people, I really don't do zero tolerance. You just need to do what you're being asked to do. But they said, no, judge, please, zero tolerance. And I wrote down zero tolerance. You were to do a UA by 11:30 a.m. on January 12th, 2021. There was to be weekly Zoom reporting until further notice, and they were going to patch you. And then you just disappeared. And we haven't seen you since. So
This is the exact moment the hearing goes from hopeful to devastating. The judge essentially explains that Jessica didn't just violate probation, she abandoned it entirely. And notice how detailed the judge becomes here. She remembers prior hearings, prior warnings, and even specific conditions that were put in place to help Jessica succeed. Weekly Zoom reporting, drug testing deadlines, zero tolerance conditions. The court actually adjusted supervision requirements to make compliance easier. That's important because judges often look at whether the system made reasonable efforts before imposing prison time. And once the judge says, you haven't been on probation in this court because you have done nothing, that's basically the final nail in the coffin. In legal terms, the court is saying probation only works if the defendant actively participates. From the judge's perspective, Jessica stopped participating years ago. That's why the sentence comes down so firmly. 5 years in prison, a fine, and a recommendation for therapeutic community treatment. Interestingly, the judge still tries to steer Jessica toward rehabilitation, even while revoking her freedom. That shows this wasn't purely punitive. The court genuinely believes addiction is driving much of this behavior. But then comes the most chilling part of the hearing. The warning about her children potentially identifying her body someday if she continues down this path. That's no longer legal commentary. That's a judge speaking as a human being watching someone self-destruct in real time. And honestly, those final remarks may end up being more memorable than the actual prison sentence.
there's no reason for me not to grant the motion. You don't want to do probation. You want to do your own thing. So I'm going to grant the motion to revoke. I'm going to sentence you to the 5 years in prison. I'm going to give you credit for any time served. There's a $1,500 fine, time and money to run concurrent, and I'll order the therapeutic community. The therapeutic community doesn't increase the time that you're in custody, but hopefully it will help you with whatever drug issues you may have. I can't force them to place you in the therapeutic community, but you can ask them and they'll see that I've requested it. And so that will probably be your best bet to help you, because you obviously have a major drug problem, but I can't help people who don't want to be helped. Did you review the trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
All right, you have a limited right, thank you. You have a limited right to appeal, and that right to appeal is as it relates to the allegations in the motion, not the fact that you're on probation. You understand? All right, we can go off the record. How many children do you have?
One.
All right. So here's the thing. The last time you use, maybe the last time you use, do not put your child or your family members in a situation where they have to identify the body of somebody who's in a field and they say, well, we think it's your mom. And then you know what will end up happening? They will have to identify your body and say, yes, that's our mom. Don't do that. When you get out of prison, if you can't find a place to help you with your drug problem or to stay on track, if I'm here, you can always come back to here and I will direct you to a place that is free. I will pick up the phone, personally call them so you can get there. You understand?
This case is a powerful example of how probation can become a crossroads between rehabilitation and incarceration. Jessica Marilla came into court hoping for another extension and another opportunity to prove she had changed. Her defense focused heavily on homelessness, addiction struggles, lack of transportation, and recent sobriety. But the judge ultimately concluded that too many chances had already been given, especially after repeated failures to report and prior warnings that were ignored. Legally, once Jessica admitted the probation violation was true, the court had broad authority to revoke probation and impose the original prison sentence tied to her bribery conviction. And that's exactly what happened here. The judge sentenced her to 5 years in prison while also recommending therapeutic treatment in an attempt to address the underlying addiction issues driving the behavior. What makes this hearing stand out, though, is the emotional complexity. The judge clearly believed Jessica needed help, but also believed the court system could not continue rewarding noncompliance indefinitely. Cases like this always spark debate because they force people to confront difficult questions about addiction, accountability, and how many second chances are enough. Did the judge make the right decision here? Or should rehabilitation have outweighed punishment one more time? If you found this case as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns.
Yes,
All right, good luck to you, okay?